I am now in the small town of Kruja, and there you see how it's spelled, but it's pronounced Kruja. This is the monument to Skanderbeg, who is the national hero, the George Washington, if you will, of Albania. And I believe that somehow, some way, I need to get up to the top of that, to wherever the castle is. So where the castle is and how I get to it, I haven't a clue. But if I were going to build a castle, and all the pictures seem to suggest it's up on top. But how to get there from here, I have no clue. Okay, after a ride on a bus out of Tirana to another place, actually just on the outskirts of Tirana, which is not very far, then a 2 minibus ride, one into a town down below here somewhere, and then the other up to Kruja, where I am now. And then in an effort to find out where I am and where I want to go, I found a hotel that looked like it was important, and so I climbed up to the panorama view, didn't find the office, and you're just seeing that panorama view. But as a consequence of being up here, notice that low ridge of mountains, something I noticed coming in on the plane. Behind me is a large mountain, but there were very small ridges, relatively speaking, for some reason along the coastline. Now here I think is where the castle was. And it kind of makes some sense now that we're up here. I recognize that tower from pictures, I believe, and that kind of craggy look, although I had the sense that it would be on top of this mountain, which is to our left. But on the other hand, it's hard enough, I suspect, to have survived up here, let alone trying to survive up on top of the mountain. Here are minarets suggesting a mosque nearby. And there are those mountain ridge, if you will. This apparently is not the new hotel that I kind of was thinking it presented itself as. At least it's suggested by this old wood here. So my guess is that if I start walking somewhere in that direction, I'll find the road that goes on up there. Just keep going up. That makes sense. This is the hotel, Hostel Restaurante Panorama. Makes sense. There's some, another building to compete with it, though, I'm afraid. Doesn't take a lot of language skills to figure out this. May as well shoot some views as I'm walking up and investing my energy to get up there. Looks like one of the old stairway. Would suggest one of the older residences. Here's a quaint chunk of the old. And even that little walkway down there looks like it's quite old, but they're the new, and even the newer going in. I'm tempted to take this pathway up, but with my extremely well-honed navigational skills, I took the wrong turn at the very first intersection and got some help from a lady that spoke English, and so I'm thinking I continue to follow the road. And I think Kala may refer to castle. Plus this kind of looks like a little bit touristy with shops and so forth, giving me, a hint. Kala may refer to castle. I'm guessing that that's garlic hanging in that window. Whether it's just there to dry or whether it serves some kind of tradition, I don't know, but there's something else in that window there. Oh, a doll. Hanging. I have to wonder what it would be like to live up here. Kind of like some other places I've been, like Valparaiso in Chile. You develop extremely powerful legs. I'm guessing hanging in that window, whether it's just there to dry, I don't know, but there. Kind of like some other places I've been, like Valparaiso in Chile. You develop extremely powerful legs. Get the sense that this is nicely put together for tourism. Has to be one of the smart, essential developing economic factors for a place like Albania that appears to have not much else. And as my wont, I'm early enough to be here before even the shops have opened. another choice, go this way, which looks like it would have been an entrance at one point, or my left, which is a more substantial road. This is interesting. Certainly this building that I'm standing in front of, or enclosure, whatever I'll call it, is not so new, but perhaps these stone area here is. Looks like water would come tumbling out of there into this rock bowl. Certainly some kind of religious thing, I would think. We'll get closer detail on these two, which may be lions. I don't know. And another that I can't make out too closely. Looks like some kind of writing. Here's the route that I'll probably end up taking once I determine that the route I'm going to take is wrong. And here below me is some part of this castle structure. Indeterminate, but I think where I'm going now would have been, if not a prime entrance, a secondary entrance. And you can see this wall to the left went up much, much higher than what we're seeing. And probably from some of these indentations in the stone, you can gather that there was some kind of gating even right here. Of course, here's the prime entrance, I would guess. In this area in here, perhaps a place where guards would stand, and same thing with this place on the right. Again, you can see that once it was arched there, and all of that's now missing. Looks like I can get in. So here, again, some indentations in this arched hallway, entryway. We go back a fair distance, maybe 15, 20 feet. And certainly would have, I guess, been the hangout for the people who controlled this critical entryway. 2009, this site as a prime rehabilitation site, restoration site, as well it might be, since it's absolutely critical to the last 1,000-year history of Kruja, if not Albania, if not in some measure all of this part of Eastern Europe. And you can see that that portion up there certainly is brand new. Whether it originally looked like that, anybody's guess. And I'll try and get a little bit closer in to look at this artwork. Again, whether it's original, I mean in the sense of the design, certainly the paint is new, or just something put there because it was appropriate or nice, I don't know. But in any event, you would hope that the pictures, as does most art of the past, give us a clue as to the clothing, the weapons. You can see a mace hanging from that man's right side, and the sword and the spear in this man's hand. And whether this is a fanciful imagination of how the castle would have looked at its best, I don't know. I have to shoot through exterior archway after archway. Now, I assume that these are the same people, the heroes of our tale, Skanderbeys and the men, which there were relatively few. I'm going to pan the older section as I give some insight into this area. Originally occupied by the Illyrian tribe, the Albani, this whole area of Albania was Illyrian at one time. And then it was captured by the Romans, no big surprise. In 1190, it became a capital of an Albanian state. And then in 1443, it was captured by Skanderbeg. And I think the story behind that was that using a forged document from the Sultan, and he was able to get such a, or know about such a document because he was sent there as a young boy, a political hostage, I suspect, from Albania to be in the Sultan's court. And as a consequence, rose very, very high in their military. And when he came here, he decided to defect on behalf of his Albania, which is where, of course, he had come from. And that began the great history of Skanderbeg.